My next guest is going to be taking on Melissa Gatto coming up here at UFC 265 on August 7th. It's Victoria Leonardo back here on the program. Victoria, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Today is Wednesday, midweek. Just curious what you've been up to today. I know a lot going on leading into fight camp, or the fight, I should say.
Yeah, I actually took this morning off just to kind of get ready for my workout this evening. I'm going to be doing a little wrestling, a little one-on-one with a wrestling coach. And so, wrestling's always a grind. So I just got on a light run and, did some chores, kind of reset for the rest of the week. And yeah, I'm excited to get back in there this afternoon and get back to work.
Is that something that as you've gotten older, you've been a little bit better about, is knowing when not to overtrain and do things like you said you took this morning off? Maybe, I know for some fighters, that's something that comes with age. They they listen to their body better is what I'm getting at.
Definitely. I feel like that's definitely always an area I try to improve on, is my recovery and just balancing it all, because I feel like you can definitely run yourself into the ground. The fight game is like, it's a marathon in a way. It's like we're all, no one can defeat Father Time, but you can definitely kind of,
curb it a bit, yeah.
Cause yourself to age a lot quicker if you don't take care of your body. Exactly.
Well said. Was this the right amount of time off in between fights, or were you trying to fight a little bit sooner?
I think this was the right amount of time. Most people know that I broke my arm in my last fight in January, and most of my time off has been to recover from that and make sure my arm is healed up properly. And again, with the balance thing, I had to balance, like, okay, these are the ways I can train right now, and I don't want to push my arm too much in the beginning because I didn't want to cause it not to heal properly. But saw the doctor yesterday actually, and the bone is completely healed. We're good to go. I'm excited, and I've been putting in steady training for the past few months.
What did you take away the most from that UFC debut? I know not the result you wanted, but what did you learn the most from that?
I mean, I think for me, it showed me some areas that I could definitely improve on, and I've tried to implement better my blocking and my moving in the stand-up realm since that fight, and I'm excited to show that off in my next fight. And
it seemed like you got plenty of notice for this one. You get a full camp heading in?
Yes, that's been really great. I've definitely had my fair share of last-minute fights and quick turnarounds, and it's nice to finally be able to really plan and really put in a solid fight camp.
I saw you were doing some cross training over at Syndicate. How was that?
That was good. I mean, I know Serena over there, and so I contacted her since we were in Vegas training at the PI, and I got to work with her a little bit, and as well as a few other girls that not close friends with, but it was nice to go and work with them, and yeah, it was good. It's always good to kind of gauge, see where you're at with other people.
Is there anyone nicer than Serena other than her good friend Roxanne? I mean, it's just such a good crew over there with the Cinda girls or whatever they call it. I know it's like a crew over there, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's not a lot of people nicer than Serena. I hate that. I think Roxanne was at a wedding or something, so I didn't get to hang out with Roxanne. I've always wanted to, and so maybe one day. I think me and Roxy would be, we'd have a lot to talk about.
Now, as a Canadian, I got to ask, was Jasmine Jazavidius there when you were training? I wasn't sure. I know she spent a little bit of time over there.
I didn't see her. I actually picked a really weird week. It seemed like half of the girls were sick.
Oh, so interesting. Okay.
They were sick or out of town, and I was like, we picked an interesting week to go to Vegas because we picked the week of the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight. So it was slam packed with people, and then it was like the hottest week in the summer. They were like, we're seeing a record heat wave.
I imagine you plan to go back at some point and do some more cross training over there in the future?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. How have you structured things in terms of training at home base? I know you've been training a bit with Andrea Lee as well. What's sort of been the camp leading into this fight?
I wouldn't say that I've like radically changed my camp in any way since I started. I'm just trying to get be well rounded, get training in the areas of like wrestling and jiu-jitsu and stand up. And so I try to, I go to those classes. I work on things that my coaches see that I need to have some improvement on, and then I get to gauge I love that I get to gauge myself against somebody like Andrea, who's, a vet that's been in there, and, she can show me things that maybe like, okay, I need to work on this, and, and I just try to balance that with strength and conditioning, and, making sure my cardio is where it's supposed to be, and that's pretty much it.
And in terms of your opponent, undefeated, 6-0-2. What do you know about her? How do you feel like you match up against her?
I feel like we're a good matchup. It's one of those things that's kind of hard to completely gauge because she hasn't fought. I want to say 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately, the whole ring rust thing, because it looks like this card this weekend is like the card of the layoffs. We got a lot of people, especially like TJ Dillashaw that hadn't fought, and then we had Miesha Tate last weekend making the case that maybe ring rust is a myth. She looked really great out there. So, you don't know what improvements people have made in that time, or if the layoff was good to them or bad to them. So I'm just preparing to be the best fighter that I could be. I know that she's got really great jiu-jitsu, so we've been working on defense, and of course I feel like my jiu-jitsu is pretty good as well. My wrestling's very good, so I feel like it's going to be a good fight, and we'll have to see after round one what adjustments we need to make, if any, and then go in there and try to finish the job in round two.
Does it add a little bit more that she doesn't have a loss and you could be the first one to do it, or is that something you don't even care about?
Yeah, I think it does add a little bit. For me, it's almost like an inside joke between me and my friends. I joke that I'm going to make a necklace with little zeros on it because I feel like I've fought quite a few.
That's true. Now that I think about it, that is true. You have fought a few fighters like that, right? That are undefeated or were undefeated.
On the Contender Series, Stephanie Geltmacher and Invicta. My first two fights, pro fights, the girls were undefeated as amateurs. And so, that's one of those things that I say, well, they're undefeated, but they haven't met me yet. So we'll see. And if they beat me, then, man, maybe they deserve to be undefeated. But I'm going to make them work for that, having that zero by their name.
Speaking of Chelsea Hackett, did you see she's going to be on Survivor, the Australia edition? Did you notice that?
I didn't see that. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Would you ever want to do something like that, reality TV or something crazy like that?
Depends on what it is. Is she trying to survive in Australia? Because I feel like I wouldn't want to mess with Australia.
Well, the Outback, yeah. I'm assuming that's where they would be. It's probably not great conditions, but yeah. I mean, teach their own. Some people thrive in that environment. Others, they need to have technology or a nice bed, so teach their own.
My husband loved to watch those kind of shows, Naked and Afraid. And one of the worst places they go is actually like Louisiana. Like the swamp is awful. Yeah. Like the mosquitoes that's what does it for me. As long as I'm not in the swamp, I think I can make it, but I just hate fighting the bugs.
No, I don't blame you. I'm the same way. I bug spray wherever I go. I don't like those mosquitoes either. Weird turn from that, but how's the weight cut going? Everything going according to plan?
Weight cut's going good. I mean, I'm kind of in the weight range that I always am at this time, so I'm not worried about it. I mean, I have a little bit of a layoff where I haven't cut weight in 6 months or whatever, but I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to get it done.
Who's going to be in the cage with you that night as far as your corner?
I'm going to have my husband, my head coach, who's always there with me, my wrestling coach, Robin White, and one of my boxing coaches, his name is Daniel King. We haven't taken either one of them to the big show yet, so I'm excited to have them there with me.
How do you see the fight unfolding on August 7th?
I think, I'm a little bit fuzzy on where it might play out on the feet, but I think my wrestling's going to be stronger, that I'm going to be able to push the pace. My cardio's doing great. I'm in excellent shape, and I think I can really put a smash on her.
I imagine you want to get one more fight in this year, assuming all goes well in this one and you're healthy and all that. I imagine you want to get in there one more time?
Absolutely, and I heard rumors that Dustin Poirier is going to fight Charles Oliveira in Louisiana. November.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sure you'd love to get on that card. Yeah.
And if that is the case, I want to be on that card. I would love to fight in Louisiana. I have not fought in my hometown since I became a pro. So it's been, since I was an amateur. That's the last time I fought in Louisiana. I would love to be on that card. That would be awesome.
Well, I'm assuming you mentioned Oliveira. I was thinking McGregor for a second. I was like, he's not going to come back. But yeah, you're right. It's Oliveira. So that could definitely make sense. What did you think of that fight with Oliveira or with Poirier and McGregor, with McGregor breaking his leg or his ankle or whatever in that fight? I mean, obviously Poirier was winning the fight, but as someone who's a fan of Dustin, what did you think of that?
I think Dustin put on a hell of a performance. He was very dominant that round. I believe 2 judges gave him the 10-8. I mean, it's hard to say. You never know with Conor's knockout power what the the second round would have looked like, whether Dustin would have been able to repeat that or not. But I mean, I don't think that him breaking his ankles should take anything away from Dustin's victory. You know, he definitely showed that he was the better fighter in round one. And it's unfortunate. I hate for anybody to break their bone. Being someone that broke her bone in the ring.
That's right, yes.
You can relate. I hate to see that for anybody. So I wish McGregor the best recovery, and all that.
Yeah, it's been a weird year for that, right? We had Jamal Hill. I think he dislocated his elbow. We had Jimmy Crute. We had Weidman obviously break his leg, and then we had McGregor as well. So it's been a weird year for that type of stuff. Before we go, downtime. What's that looking like? Any TV shows you're into right now, or anything you're getting up to? Reading any books? Anything cool outside of the cage?
I've been watching a lot of clips from the Joe Rogan Experience.
Nice. Yeah. I'm the same way actually, because I don't have time to sit and listen to a 3-hour podcast. So I like the clips better as well.
Right. I'll catch a clip on YouTube, and then sometimes I'll decide hey, I want to watch more of that. But yeah, I don't have time to always sit down for the 3 hours, and sometimes it doesn't end up being as entertaining as I thought it would. So it's nice to still catch the clips on YouTube, even though he's moved to Spotify now.
Yeah, no, it can be a bit difficult. The only time I can ever listen to a podcast is if I'm mowing the lawn. That's the only time, because I got backyard, front yard, so that's the only time. But outside of that, I don't got time. I can relate. I know it's very very tough to sit down and just listen. You have to be doing something usually, or folding laundry or something, right? I find that helps.
Doing something while I'm listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Victoria, thanks so much for the time. Really looking forward to this card. Is UFC 265 coming up here August 7th. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
I just want to thank my coaches and training partners, and all of our partners at our gym at the compound. We got a few sponsors. Just thank you guys so much for being there for us, for the support, and that's it. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, James, for the interview.